Let's go. Well, in addition to Six Finger Falls, I also have on my agenda Fuzzybutt Falls. And although I don't think it's going to be anything spectacular either, based on six fingers, but this is a scouting trip. And I think I can't overstress the importance of a scouting trip. Just getting out and finding out what the conditions are going to be like. Who knows, maybe I get there, it's slightly cloudy today, partly cloudy, so maybe I'll get some good light. Certainly I hope I don't get any harsh light on the falls, but maybe I'll have good light. But if I don't, I can line something up for this evening or maybe tomorrow morning. And that's the point of the scouting trip. But I'll see you at Fuzzybutt. I should have came to Fuzzybutt last year. Not much water, as you can see. Lots of green. It's contrasting. And the light, the way the light's kind of bouncing around off the cavern walls. The green moss almost has a kind of like a glow, and maybe with the polarizer I might be able to bring out a little bit more of that. The question is there enough water to really make an interesting waterfall? I don't think so, but this is pretty spectacular. I think it could be amazing in the right conditions with the right amount of water. But a long exposure on this, I might be able to bring out the water, the white in the water, and provide a contrast between the waterfall and the background enough to make the waterfall more pronounced. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking. Who knows? Can I pull it off? I think we're going to find out. I had to work fast. I had some harsh light coming in, so. But anyway, I was taking this composition, and I just couldn't get it. I liked the leading lines right here, and just really kind of brought some interest to the image, I think, just leading the viewer into the falls, but not much of a foreground, even with the polarizer. But I just couldn't get it. I didn't even capture that image. So I just kind of moved around to the other side over here. So from this perspective, the green just seemed to really pop, and it provided an extra layer of contrast between the rock formations and the vegetation. And I think I had more of the falls, more of the water in the falls, and just, I don't know, I really like this composition better, and just kind of leading up into the forest. So there's the leading lines on the right side here, and then the leading lines of the vegetation and the waterfall and the trees just kind of leading up into the forest. And hopefully I got enough of the forest. I captured a couple of different exposures, a couple of bracketed images, so a couple stops down, so I could capture that forest, just get all the detail out of it. I think one exposure is good enough. You know, if I look at the histogram, looks like I got it in one exposure, but better safe than sorry. It's not, we're not dealing with film here. It's digital. Yeah, I really like the spot. I wish I'd have brought my chair. I definitely would have spent some time here. Well, who am I kidding? I spent some time here anyway. I definitely will return here in the future. This is a beautiful spot, and I think if you get that water really flowing, yeah. You know, the thing about this fall is that if you get too much water, I don't think it's going to work. I think it's got to be maybe a little bit more than right now, and who knows? I get back in post, and I might be very satisfied with what I have. But it's funny. These things are funny. I mean, it could be good. It might need a little bit more water, but it's certainly too much water or too little water. You know, we got to get it just right. You know, if you're new to landscape photography and just kind of getting into it, you want to get out and do some things like this, one thing I would recommend is that on a scouting trip, yeah, it's great to scout, and sometimes it's best to not carry your gear, and you're kind of free to really just get in there and move around and see things. But and one of the things I like to use is this view catcher, and I know I've talked about that before, but this view catcher is just spectacular for framing up a composition. But when you bring your gear in a situation like this, it's a little extra stuff to carry. But the truth is that you might just have the right light and the right composition and the right elements, and it may all come together. And in fact, you may get that image on that first try. So, but the experience is that that's usually not the case. The scouting trips provide a lot of intel, and then I end up coming back later to capture the image. So just something to think about. Well, I'm going to go ahead and head back to the car. I have another waterfall that I want to check out. I don't know if I'm going to do that today or tomorrow, but I want to check that out, hike back and see. It's called Dogwood Falls. I tried to find it last year, and I couldn't find it, so I kind of got discouraged and just gave up on it. But I think this time of year, and with the water that I'm seeing here, I think that fall might be about perfect. So I'm going to go give that a shot and see what I can come up with. Well, I guess that's it. I'm going to go ahead and call it. Hey, if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. And if you do subscribe, hit the bell icon so you're notified of any future videos that I post. And leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. And as always, if I don't see you down the road, maybe I'll see you on the trail.
Of all the disappointments I've experienced in the Ozark National Forest, this is the most discouraging. Although I like this composition, mainly due to the textures and the contrast between the flora and the canyon walls, the lack of water is so abysmal, there's no way this image is a keeper. As a landscape photographer, motivation is paramount to long-term success. Indeed, it's essential to manage one's expectations, and I cannot overstress the importance of canvassing an area and scouting for compositions. However, occasionally we are lucky, and despite this being a scouting trip, I hoped for a portfolio-worthy image. At any rate, the most lacking part is, of course, the water flow. I mean, after all, it's a waterfall. And what's a waterfall without the main subject? As Ansel Adams once said, there's nothing worse than a sharp image of a fuzzy concept. Indeed, between a 6-hour drive and numerous other commitments, I'll have to be patient for the right opportunity. But when the rains return, I intend to make this vision I have in my mind's eye, a reality.